Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today I'm going to be doing my May update for the PANtastic Ladies 2021 Project Pan theme of tiny pans. I love this theme. I think it is so stinking adorable. I love miniature pretty much anything anyway, so pairing it with panning, which I also love, is just perfect. So this year I am panning this little guy right here. This is from Sleek Cosmetics. It is their When the Sun Goes Down palette, and it is got teeny tiny itty bitty little pans. So before I show you what my pan or my palette looks like now, let me go ahead and pop in what it looked like last month. And now let's take a look at what it looks like now. Do you see what I see? Because I have another beautiful, shiny, gorgeous pan in there, and I'm so excited. So I finally did hit pan on the purple shade, and I am obviously very, very excited about it. So I will go ahead and put up my side-by-side like I have in my other updates, and we'll talk about how many times I used each of the shadows, just so that you know kind of what my usage is looking like. So for the first shade in the palette, I used it a total of 6 times, and it is starting to show a little bit of wear. I do use this as an inner corner highlight, so not a lot gets used at any given time, but I do like that you're starting to see a pretty good dent going in there just from how my brush naturally falls. It is exciting to see that progress. The second shade is the only other matte shade in this palette. The first one I used up very early into the project. I only used it a total of 3 times. It is definitely a deeper matte, so I have to use it quite sparingly when I do use it. And to be honest, I have been using this palette to do very one and done sort of looks where I'm taking the shimmer and I'm actually buffing that into the crease rather than doing kind of like what I have on today where I've taken some mattes and some shimmers and kind of done it that way. This has been just a very easy go-to quick look palette. So I've only used it 3 times. I'm positive nowhere near hitting pan. While these pans, the circumference is very small, they are deeper than what you would expect for pans this small, so I definitely have a ways to go before hitting pan, but I still have a good amount of time left in this project to make it happen. So the third shade in the palette I didn't use at all this month. Again, it's one that I use mostly as an inner corner highlight, and because the first shadow has kind of a pinky little shift to it, it worked really well with the purple shade that we'll talk about later. So I used that one more than anything else. Additionally, the fourth shade in the palette I didn't use at all either. It is the one that I hit pan on last month, so I was just sort of moving on for the moment. The fifth shade in the palette I used 3 times as well. Just like the first shadow in the palette, it is one that I use as an inner corner highlight or a brow bone highlight. It leans a little bit more golden versus the first shade in the palette that leans a little bit more pink. So I did use it a couple of times, or 3 times, but not anything to where you can start to see any of the movement in there. The sixth shadow pretends that it is a duochrome, and I used it a total of 4 times over the last month. You can't really see much in the way of progress, though it is starting to look a little bit roughed up, which is nice. The seventh shade in the palette I also used 3 times. It is a metallic gold shade, and it's very pretty. I like it a lot. The 8th shade in the palette I used 3 times. 3 seems to be kind of a magic number for me in this update, but it is definitely kind of a more olive leaning bronze sort of shade, and I do like it quite a bit, but I was focused on the purple, which the purple is the 9th shade in the palette. No, it's not. Just kidding. It's the 10th shade in the palette. The 9th shade was a matte cream, which I used up super duper early. But the 10th shade is the purple shade, and I used that 5 times to hit pan on it. And it's a good amount of pan. I'm actually really, really proud of myself for hitting that much pan. As I said earlier though, I have just been taking a fluffy brush and using it to buff all the way into the crease and over the eyelid. Sometimes topping it with something a little bit more metallic, sometimes just leaving it as is, depending on how much time I have to work with or kind of where my mood is for the day. But 5 usages is what got me to pan, and I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about it. The 11th shade in this palette is just a really pretty sort of metallic-y gray, and I do like it a lot. I only used it once though. And then the one on the end at number 12, the Fiery Copper, I didn't use it all just because it really wasn't going with the types of looks that I was building with the rest of the palette, as well as the other shadows in other projects that I have going on. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. I love that I have pan on 2 of the shades and that one of them is used up. Makes me feel much more confident. However, with that being said, I don't really have strong dips going on in any of the other shadows. So I am definitely going to try very hard to hit pan on something, but it probably won't happen next month. I think the 2 that I might sort of hone in on would be either the 7th shade, no, I'm sorry, the 8th shade in the palette, which is again this sort of olivey bronze shade right here, because it will play it does play very well with some of my Pan Those eyeshadows. And then also the 6th one, this one here on the end that pretends like it's a duochrome. Again, it's a very easy one just to sort of sweep all over the eye and then possibly top it with something else depending on what's going on. So those are the 2 that I am really sort of going to be focusing in on in hopes that maybe I can hit pan for my June update. It's a tall ask, but you know, I might be able to do it. I also have another item in this project that constitutes as a tiny pan. This is a lip product. It is by Bobbi Brown. It is the Crushed Liquid Lip in the shade Smoothie Move. It is what I'm wearing right now on my lips. I do very much like this shade. I love this formula. It's very comfortable. It's glossy without being sticky, and it's glossy without feeling like it's gonna move all around my face. I like it a lot. With that said, this is only the 2nd time that I've worn it since our last update. It has nothing to do with the shade itself or the formula or anything like that. I just have a lot of lip products going on across all of my many, many, many project pans. So I do really hope that I can get this used up. I am super nervous about it though, because A, I haven't used it as many times as I would need to, but also for having used it 11 times in total, it looks exactly the same. It doesn't look like I've used it at all as far as like visually. So I feel like this is going to be a really, really deceptive product. It doesn't have anything on here as far as how much the package contains. I think that was probably on the box, which I think I probably got rid of. So I'm not exactly sure how much is in here, but I'm getting the feeling that it's going to be more difficult than I had originally expected. But you know, that's the fun of panning, right? So that is where we are. If you are working on this project, I would love to know how it's going for you. Are you feeling good as we are quickly approaching the halfway mark of the year, which by the way, how is that even possible? How are we already 4 months done with 2021? We're quite literally a third, listen to me, a third of the way through the year. That's really weird to say because I don't feel like that much time has passed. I don't feel like well, I mean, we haven't done anything. We're still stuck in the house, but hopefully that's about to change. I will stop rambling. As always, everything that I am wearing on my face and everything that I am panning and everybody that is, you know, somebody that you should be checking out. Well, maybe not everybody, because I don't think the description bar is long enough for that, but some cool people to check out, some fun playlists to check out. All of that stuff is going to be in the description box below. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you are having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.